my major concern was luggage, because the luggage had been sitting downstairs probably for about 45 minutes to an hour possibly, so I was worried it was going to get nicked. And so I went down there, and to my astonishment, there was people still waiting on the carousel on my flight. So they must have been taking forever to get all the gear off. So I thought I'd just have to wait for it to come on the carousel. But then I'd done this before. I went to the other side of the carousel. Yeah, I'm blind as a bat, but I saw a big pile of luggage, and they generally take it off the carousel. And so I actually I went across and I found it. My bag was actually sitting there, so thank God that was all fine. So that was good. I got all that done, and all my absolute paranoia and negativity was for nothing. I was in a grumpy mood because I was sleep deprived, and but I got myself a Myling cab outside, and actually it was one of the cheapest Myling. One of the cheapest taxi fares to District 1 I've ever paid, and that was during peak hour. It was chockers on the roads. It was a horrible time to travel. But the guy, I think he was a religious guy. He had all these little religious icons in his in the front of his cab, and I think he's a pretty honest guy. And even though it took forever and it should have been a very high fare, it only ended up being $150, which is definitely one of the cheapest I've ever paid to get to Central District 1. So that was great, and but the downside of that trip was that the seatbelt in the front passenger seat wasn't working. What I should have done, I was thinking, which of course I wasn't because I was so stuffed, I should have said, look, maybe the ones in the back are working, but I don't think he was wearing his seatbelt either. So maybe none of his seatbelts work. I've no idea, but we got there safely. But that's the first time that's ever happened, so that freaked me out a little bit too. So it was a pretty eventful time, and I finally got to this place, which is a pretty quirky place, and I got up to the 5th floor where they got reception. They had an elevator, thank God, so and they did help me with my luggage, so that was all good. But they did want my money up front. If I didn't give them my money up front, they would hold my passport. And I'm quite happy to pay up front if I got the funds, because I'd rather, if it's peace of mind for me, I know that my room is paid for, and so there won't be any hassles. And if I got robbed, at least I know that's paid for. So, you know, just in general, I don't mind actually paying up front, but that seems to be the norm. I've struck that twice now. Ohana, where I usually stayed, well, I did a few trips back anyway. That they never demanded it up front. They were quite good. And I may go back there. I've pretty well written this place off because it's a little noisy at night. There's no balcony. I was under the impression there was a balcony. The rest of the place is quite good. I'll give you a tour of it. The room is quite nice. There's no problem with it, but apart from the fact there's no balcony, and that was what I thought there would be. But there was noise. There was quite a bit of street noise. But you know, I was so stuffed I went to sleep. And I'm going to try to find some sedatives at a pharmacy today, because I just in case I need to get some sleep. I want some sort of help. But I'm feeling a hell of a lot better. I reckon I must have got maybe about 8 hours sleep last night, because I flaked out, I think, about 8:30. I got myself some beer at the local 7-Eleven and some chips, and just had a little bit of a munchy session, and I flaked out, and I woke up about 12:30, so got about 4 hours there, and then I went back to sleep and woke up about 5:30, so I think I've got about 8 hours in total, so it's not bad. Oh, the good thing I did get here, even though they didn't have the balcony, which was very disappointing to me, they did give me complimentary breakfast. Although I've heard that the food here isn't that great. It's a huge restaurant downstairs. Looks very flashy, but apparently it hasn't had great reviews on Google. But seeing I've got a free breakfast, I'll try it, and I've got a voucher for each day I'm here. So I didn't expect that, so I thought there might be something, because I'm a what they call a Genius member on Booking.com, which just means that I've actually had 2 bookings within 1 year. So they give you perks, and they have a Genius pecking order on top of it. So I'm a Genius level 2, and apparently that gives me little perks like that. So yeah, that was good. Although I haven't had the breakfast yet, so I may be regretting that freebie. So we'll see. And if I don't like it, I might just say to them, look, can you get me a balcony room and you can have your breakfast vouchers back. I don't know. I think they charge. I'm not sure what the breakfast is. It's over 100,000 dong. I'm not sure what it was. I know their lunch is about 200,000. So yeah, but there's apparently this really good French place around the corner here, which has got lunches for about 300. Apparently they're really good. So I might try that, bit of an indulgence, see how we go. Money shouldn't be a major issue here because I've got plenty in my Timo account as well. So I've got my own, I can use the local ATMs to get money that I've got in a Vietnamese account, which is good. Oh, the other thing I got paranoid about, this is how paranoid and negative I got. I'd convinced myself that my money belt had broken. It hadn't actually broken at all, it just, the clip had come out. But I was convinced that it was broken until I examined it later, and it just showed how negative everything. I was negative about everything yesterday because of just. I mean, I wasn't looking forward to the day anyway. I knew it was going to be the worst day of the trip because I had the 2 flights and an early morning flight, which is really bad for my sleep. So, but yeah, I was in a bad mental state yesterday, and I'm in a much better one today. I must admit, I perked up a hell of a lot when the lady said to me she was happy to accept the dong, even though she wanted an extra 20,000. That's nothing. It's like slightly over $1 extra. Yeah, I could hack that. But yeah, it was an interesting day. I survived it, and no great collateral damage at all. I'm quite surprised. So I'm back in Vietnam, and from now on, hopefully we'll enjoy the experience. So we'll see how I go. Just got a couple of things. I could still get those Grab things sorted out. Oh, that's the other thing I was paranoid about too, about my internet connect, about my SIM card. I switched over to the Viettel SIM card, and it showed no signal. I thought, oh no, the thing's died on me. And it shouldn't, because if I'd had activity within the last 60 days, which I have had, it should keep it live. And it was just a delay. It took. I rebooted the phone, and it was a delay, and finally a signal came up. So that was very good. And that's very important, because now I've got to work out how to get my into my Grab account, because it asked me for a 6-digit PIN, which I've never got. I don't know where this PIN's supposed to come from, because I don't have one. So I've got no idea. It's a mystery, and I'm going to have to get that sorted out before I can use grab cabs, because I want to go to Viettel's office. I can walk there if I have to, but I'd rather get a bike if I can. So we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed that'll work out. So first things first, I've had a shower. The shower here works okay. Took a while for the hot water to come through, but it's got a nice big shower head, and that was good. So toilet, shower, all works fine. So all the basics are okay, and now I'm just basically in a settling in mode, and I'll hit the number 5 bar tonight as per usual at around 5 o'clock. I was intending on going to the Mondo language do at Rogue bar, but I was just too tired. So there's no way I was going to do that the way I was feeling physically. So anyway, that's basically it. I'm in one piece. I've survived the next trip, the beginning of it, but there's plenty more speed bumps ahead, I'm sure. So that's my report, and I'm glad a few people got something out of my travel tips. So that's quite gratifying.
Well, I just ordered hot coffee. This is my serene view of Saigon at 7:30 in the morning on a Wednesday morning. And this is the life of a commuter in Saigon, basically. The actual place I'm staying at is very nice. This is the size of the restaurant. It's amazing, huge place, and that's that's quite nice and rustic. But that ain't so rustic. that is hardcore urban living. And these people are heading towards the central business district, or they're going across town, God knows what. But that's why it's so important that they get this metro thing up and running, this underground railway system and above ground railway system up and running as soon as possible. But apparently it's been delayed by several years. It should have been up and running now, and I thought it was going to be commissioned later this year, but it looks like it's going to be later next year now, which is really sad for the poor people that are going to have to use buses or private cars, or more likely motorbikes. But it's just horrendous trying to get around here in peak hour. It's just a joke, and that's why people are going along the footpaths. I'm sure it's illegal, but they're prepared to take the risk because, you know, this is a very upmarket part of town. There's, you see there's quite a big parkland across there, but it's also a traffic sewer around here. So it'll be interesting to see what the bow's like, because I don't think it'll be that good, because I'm used to having the one I usually have. But I'll try it and see what they come up with. There's got to be noodles, there's got to be slices of beef in it. We'll see how much greenery there is. That's one of the big determinants I have with what's a decent far bow. And whether they give me the condiments, it'll just be interesting to see what they come up with, but I don't expect much. So it's just a very light breakfast, but at least I can do it on premises. Now, if only the internet would start working, I could start getting some stuff done, but it's going to be pretty hard without internet access. So that's another thing I've got to worry about. Now I'll go and see if we can check out this grab thing and find out whether I'm still getting this ridiculous message. So that's another thing to sort. But just enjoy the serene view of central Saigon as people head towards work on a Wednesday morning. Okay, this is their version of far bowl. So it's got little balls of meat, and as well as a slicer. So we'll see how that goes. At least they've got a few greens, not as much as you usually get double that with some places, but they've got the sauces, and that's fine. And yeah, the basics, it's okay. Not expecting to be fabulous, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, I'll be surprised. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment, or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.